third round weekend, the footballing stories come thick and fast. Could a non-league minnow make a big fish flounder? There were goals, jeers and tears at Anfield. Several Premier League managers had to bite their nails, some more than others. The goals crashed in from all angles, all across the country. And the cup's always half full for this fella.
But he go out with full of, what do you say? Bruises in the face, in his eyes.
Bruises in the eyes. Serious business, the cup. Thanks, Paolo. Evening to you. We'll have the action and talking points from the 27 ties played so far over the next 90 minutes. Former FA Cup winners Paul Ince and Gordon Strachan are on hand to offer insight and opinion. Swindon Town, then, once of the Premier League, are now a League Two team under Paolo Di Canio, no less, and have not made round 4 of the FA Cup since 1996. They hosted current Premier League team Wigan at the county ground today, and Peter Drury was there.
Revelling in the cup once more. 11 years this month since he famously outwitted Fabian Barthez at Old Trafford. Paolo Di Canio targets another upset with a Swindon team which has lost just one of its last 18 games. Naturally, he fields the same 11 which beat Wimbledon here on Monday. Wigan 5 without a win, shaken up for the cup. Caldwell returns from suspension, McManaman from loan at Blackpool. Only Watson and Al-Habsi survive from Tuesday's team. Ball from Lopez, pounced upon by Davita. Roll in here for Murray. Ronan Murray! Al-Habsi has spilt it. And carried it behind. Corner. Caddis. And it's come out here towards Kennedy. Callum Kennedy! Into the Town end behind. Now this is rousing stuff from Swindon Town. MacArthur's hit it early. McManaman. Callum McManaman, it's a really smart turn. Flint's challenge, penalty. Aidan Flint just couldn't deal with the fleet-footedness of Callum McManaman, who twisted his blood. Went one way, then the other. Watson for Wigan. Against the post. McManaman! He won the penalty, and ultimately he dispatched it. Wigan got lucky. He needs some luck in the cup. So Paolo Di Canio's team are going to have to come from behind. Forward again by Kennedy. Davita. Taking on Maloney. Davita's cross. Good pressure this from Swindon. Hit by Ritchie! Oh, fine save, Al-Habsi. He got plenty behind that, Matt Ritchie. Caddis. Ritchie. Out by Watson. Ferry. Ritchie again. Oh, by Connell! And in by Connell! And Swindon a level! 3 goals in 3 games for Alan Connell. But here's his standout moment in the Town end jubilant. It's felt like a proper cup tie this right from the very beginning. And boy, it's stoked up now. By McCormack, moved on by Ferry. Lovely exchange with Conley. This is gorgeous football. Ronan Murray. Murray strike! Oh, that's close. That was truly lovely from Swindon. Ritchie, it's another quality delivery. Connor's gone over and is desperate to be awarded something better than Peter Walton is prepared to offer. Mosto. DeSanto. Mosto. McManaman. Forward wide by Fotheringham. McManaman. That's a smashing ball for Maloney. And he's closed down with great endeavour by Aidan Flynn. Caddis. Ferry. Ritchie. Deflection goal! Last off! Benson. It was Ritchie's strike. They can dispute it. No one else cares. It's swell for Swindon at the county ground. Shot on. Ritchie hit it. Was Benson offside? Might well have been. Uproarious atmosphere in the ground now. McManaman. McCormack just got a toe on it. Italian cat on a hot tin roof. He cannot stand or sit still. 14,000 whistles waiting for one. There it is! Swindon's special day! Memorable day for the chairman, for his new centre-forward who twitched the goal. The FA Cup's last 32 will involve Swindon Town. Ball number 20 out of League Two and playing football way beyond League Two standard. Deservedly here to beat Wigan Athletic of the Premier League by 2-1.
Paolo, to see you at the final whistle there was to understand how much it meant to you on so many levels today.
But, you know, when you beat a team like Wigan, 3 league above of you, in the way it came, 1-0 down, this is the best moment in my life.
From our point of view, obviously they had that little bit of luck that you need. The second goal is clearly offside. I don't think we had to deal with too much of a threat in the second half. But overall, there's a real fighting spirit and a real togetherness there. You can clearly see that there are exciting times ahead for Swindon Town.
I was happy for my players, for my family, for the fans, for the board. They deserve this, and for my dad up there, because I'm sorry that he couldn't live this moment. So this is all for all these people, but especially for my dad.
Well put, Paolo. And the third round, fellas, so often throws up great stories, and this was another one, wasn't it, Paul? Had all the ingredients. League Two team up against the Premier League team. Di Canio, who always wears his heart on his sleeve, and good story.
Yeah, he does, yeah. And, I mean, it's great to see. I mean, first and foremost, you know, Di Canio was an absolutely fantastic player. And to go down to League Two to take his first job as management, he's done very, very well. And you can see what he means to him. I mean, I remember going to Sunderland last year with Notts County and beating them 2-1. And it's so nerve-wracking. Waiting for that final whistle, you know, is so nerve-wracking. And it was one of those when it first came out that always had the potential of being a banana skin. And looking on the balance of play, they deserve to win it.
Yes, I wouldn't like to say they nicked it, Gordon, because that would be unfair. No. But the winning goal had an element of perhaps fortune about it in terms of the offside.
Yeah, it was a bit fortune, but they built it up again nicely. It wasn't like the ball was thrown in the box. They put the ball in the box when they were in good crossing positions. If they didn't have that, they passed the ball. And it's a good shot. It's going on target.
Yeah.
And the guy's offside. But on the whole, they were terrific. It wasn't one of these cup ties you go back 20 years where you played in mud and rain and horrible pitches. It was on a lovely surface with some beautiful footballers and a terrific result.
And football takes all sorts. Management, I'm sure, has to take all sorts. I wouldn't have been alone when I saw Di Canio's appointment and thinking, has he got the right temperament for football management? But it seems to be working.
Yeah, he seems to take it like a duck to water, to be fair. And I think, you know, he is a very emotional guy. But he seems to be feeding that to his players. And, you know, as Gordon said, you know, the style of football we saw in that little clip before, they're playing some lovely 1 and 2 touch and opening teams up, and he's enjoying it.
Yeah. You can't always enjoy it, you know that, but I guess you have to enjoy the good days.
Yeah, you're talking about somebody who got beat with Clyde in the cup tie. It doesn't get any worse than that. And people ask you after the game, how do you feel?
Yeah.
It was terrific. But what he has got, we're all different characters, but when... You know, he has a pride in what he does.
Yes.
He had his pride in his training, he had pride in the way he looked at it. So he wants a pride in his football team as well. And he has a drive and love for the game. And that's what you need. And you need it through the hard times as well.
Absolutely. Congratulations to all, of course, at Swindon. We'll be, meanwhile, at Anfield next. Kenny was welcoming Oldham, but there were more red faces in the ground last night. And we'll be at the Moss Rose, where Gary Simpson's Macclesfield mixed it with Owen Coyle's Bolton.
Manchester divided.
Two tribes. It's a local feud with national implications. Aguero! Rooney! Blue moon rising.
They revel in the rawness of the rivalry.
City against United is live on ITV1 and ITV1 HD from 12:30 Sunday lunchtime. Should be a belter. Then at 3:30 it's Peterborough Sunderland live. Ferguson Jr. against Martin O'Neill. That's followed by the draw for the fourth round. And to complete the weekend, highlights of Arsenal Leeds at 10:35 on Monday night. Of course, Thierry Henry poised to return for the Gunners. Now, Liverpool's tie with Oldham started this third round weekend last night. The Reds were one of three clubs this weekend who paid their pre-match respects to former player Gary Ablett, who died this week at just 46. Jim Proudfoot saw this one.
Here's Dean Fern. And Simpson. A good attempt! Better than good! It's a goal as brilliant as it could be significant, as Robbie Simpson gives the League One side the lead at Anfield. Gerrard. Shelby providing the width. A decent attempt, it's hit Bellamy and got it. And Oldham's lead lasted only a matter of moments. Shelby cutting inside onto his left foot, and Craig Bellamy's deflection did the rest. Gerrard marauds forward. Shelby outside him again. In from Gerrard, and the referee's given a penalty. The Oldham players far from convinced. It looked like a push on Rodriguez by Adeyemi. And Gerrard just gives Liverpool a half-time lead. Off the underside of the bar and in. Shelby and strongly. Now Bellamy. Two to pick out. Gerrard was there, but it's Shelby that's put it in. His first goal for Liverpool. Almost got in Gerrard's way, but between them they got the job done. And that's a goal kick. Now what's happened here? There's some heated dialogue being exchanged between Tom Adeyemi and somebody in the cop. There's real anger in the face of the young Oldham defender. Now, I'd be wrong to jump to conclusions, but clearly whatever Adeyemi thinks he's heard is extremely serious, because that isn't the reaction of somebody who's been on the end of some run-of-the-mill banter. And particularly in the light of the Luis Suarez incident, everybody connected with Liverpool will be hoping there are no damaging accusations made by Adeyemi here. He's clearly very upset and calmed down by the referee and both sets of players. Paul Dickoff seems mystified as to what's happened. Here's Carroll, 4-1. What a way to mark your arrival within 2 minutes of coming on. An excellent goal from Andy Carroll. Carroll's layoff. Shelby's got Flanagan outside him. It's John Flanagan. Good save. Downing. That's 5. Stuart Downing breaks his Liverpool duck. 5-1, a scoreline that's very harsh on Oldham.
Well, the scoreline clearly good news for Liverpool. The headlines, sadly, not. Of course, you'll be aware, perhaps, of what went on with Tom Adeyemi from this morning's newspapers. News today, though, that Merseyside police have arrested a 20-year-old man on suspicion of racially aggravated abuse of the Oldham defender. Paul, you're perhaps almost uniquely positioned to pass opinion on all of this as a former Liverpool and Manchester United player. With everything that's gone in the last few weeks, what are your feelings on the whole series of incidents, really?
I think, first and foremost, I think the incident the other night is a shame because considering the game was to remember Gary Ablett. You know, he was a fantastic player and a fantastic person, and I knew him personally. And that has tarnished, you know, the game for me. I will say that I didn't agree with Kenny Dalglish with the Suarez shirt, you know, but what happened yesterday wasn't right, and it was an isolated situation. It was one person. Liverpool's a fantastic club, you know, with fantastic fans and also fantastic people. I live in Liverpool, so I know how great those people are, and you know, the mindless person who's now been arrested, I hope will be dealt with severely.
Yeah. We, I suppose, all hoped we didn't have to endure any more of this, Gordon, and we should perhaps differentiate between the behaviour of clubs and players on the one hand and individuals in a crowd on another.
When we're talking about these kinds of things, there's a difference between the game itself and something that the game can't control. Listen, this guy calls himself a Liverpool supporter. I don't call... if I get abuse from a fan, maybe as a Celtic man, I got abuse from a Rangers, I don't think as a Rangers fan or the Rangers football club, the guy is a moron. That's what that guy is. He's a moron. It doesn't matter what scarf he's wearing. He'll be a moron when he walks out the stadium. So the quicker we clamp down on the morons... We have a problem in this country, but football seems to get blamed for everything. The society, we rule the world in job society, and I'm afraid until we clamp down on job society, we'll get incidents like this. Yeah.
Of course, though, to some extent, supporters take their lead from players, don't they? And teams and clubs, and we're all trying to find a way past these problems and these...
Yeah, we are, and I think, to be fair, I think when you look at we had 2 or 3 cases over the last 4 or 5 weeks, which have, for me, carried on a little bit too long. It's been a bit of a saga.
Yeah.
And these things need to be put to bed because, you know, me and Gordon were speaking before, and, you know...
We'll be speaking a lot.
Yeah.
And
well, it's a big issue.
It's a big issue, and, you know, we can't sit there because you can only open up a can of worms. It's a big debate. And, but what we've got to remember is football is a fantastic game. It's a great game. We all love football. And the quicker we can put these incidents to bed, you know, the quicker we can start enjoying football again.
We were saying that the football itself, the football family itself, should be shown as a way everybody gets on, because it's the football family. Sometimes we cannot deal with what goes on round the outside, but inside the football family, it is absolutely terrific. And we should get more credit for what we do in the football family, instead of getting the blame for all sorts of social ills in the football.
Thank you both for those views. From one of Paul's former clubs to another, Macclesfield Town of League Two met Premier League Bolton in the Carling Cup earlier in the season, and by all accounts gave them a right good game. Could they do the same in the FA Cup? Clive Tilsley was at the Moss Rose.
Moss Rose is full to its 6,000 plus capacity, nearly 3 times the average attendance here. The home team's Portuguese goalkeeper, Jose Veiga, is a League Two Player of the Month nominee. Bolton's Hungarian goalkeeper, Adam Bogdan, is still getting over the shock of being beaten by his opposite number at Everton in midweek. There are 6 Bolton changes in front of him. Klasnic, Pratley. Davis back to Klasnic. And some space here for Chris Eagles. Knocked on its way by Jose Veiga. Crisply struck by Eagles. Sat up invitingly for him from that first touch. He's got good technique. Eagles takes. Towards the head of Wheater. Volleyed through the crowd and rolled in by Klasnic. Macclesfield managed to keep out the initial effort from Darren Pratley, but Ivan Klasnic with the simplest of tasks, and Bolton lead inside 8 minutes. Mendy. Running free is Daniel. Well, Adam Bogdan had a goalkeeping nightmare on Wednesday at Goodison Park when he was beaten by Tim Howard's clearance. But Bolton Wanderers think the world of the young Hungarian. Tremarco's throw. Away by Wheater, back in by Tremarco. Mendy trying to keep the attack alive. Oh, Bogdan makes another outstanding save. And this is the real Adam Bogdan. Bogdan has put Wednesday night well and truly behind him now. Chance for a break here, and they outnumber Bolton. Hampshire on to Donnelly. 5 in the attack for Macclesfield, and Daniel's got a real chance. 1-1. A counter-attack out of the top drawer from Macclesfield Town, finished off by Colin Daniel. And Daniel beats the Bolton goalkeeper and levels for Macclesfield. Daniel, oh, he's taken Robinson on and skinned him. He's had quite a game, Daniel. Well, Paul Robinson's been around the block a time or two. He's seen him come and go. But he's met a very, very dangerous opponent in Colin Daniel here. Taken by Wedgbury. Bolton, after a few ricochets, clear their lines. Tremarco. Mendy trying to help it on and volleys in. Oh! You won't see many better goals in the FA Cup this season than that one from Arno Mendy. League 2 Macclesfield Town lead, and deservedly lead, with a breathtaking goal. Brilliantly struck by the Frenchman Mendy. That is as clean a volley as you could wish to hit. Wayne Coyle contemplating the defeat to a League 2 team. It's a possibility now. Foul. Daniel trying to help out, trying to tackle back, just a bit clumsy. Bolton Wanderers need a goal. We're running out of time, less than 15 minutes now. Petrov. Led by Wheater. David Wheater to the rescue. Well placed, well-timed header. David Wheater's first goal for Bolton Wanderers. May just have spared their blushes here with 14 minutes left to play. Davis quicker to the ball, gets it back from Klasnich. Bundled to the ground by Wedgbury, it'll be a free kick. Made a difference, Davis, since coming on. Just brought a bit more creativity and urgency to the Bolton approach play. Vega already beaten from 2 set pieces. Who will it be? It'll be Petrov! Crossbar, keeping out the shot. Still some defending to do. Knight with the header forward, but a free kick has gone Macclesfield's way. Martin Petrov very nearly finished it there and then. Beautifully executed free kick. Wheater. This might come for Klasnich! Oh, what a save by Vega! That's kept Macclesfield Town in the FA Cup. Came to Klasnich somewhat fortuitously, but his control was excellent. The save was better.
We don't deal in negativity. We're very positive in our outlook. We've had 7 points from 12 over the festive period. Came here to a difficult cup tie, still in the heart, and we look forward to the replay.
Today they showed what they can do, and I'll delighted with the performance. Could have won it really.
Both sides clearly, and probably rightly, feel they could have won it. Macclesfield may go another 100 years and not score what might have been a better winner from Arno Mendy than this one, Paul.
Yeah, I mean, it was a fantastic goal. I'm not sure, as the ball comes out, Tremarco puts it back in. It looks like he's trying to help it back into the box, but it falls on his right foot, and that is an absolute worldie. You know, he'll be watched that time and time again tonight.
I think Arno should have just got into his car after that, put his boots away and got himself another profession, because he's now got to score another goal like that in his life.
Yeah,
it was terrible.
Look him up. He's known as a ball-winning midfielder with a little spell at Derby and Tranmere. God blimey, I thought that was don't know.
Yeah, it's one of those goals that's, you know, is just fitting to win a match.
Yeah.
And that was the only disappointing thing
It's
for
amazing
me.
when you see a player's face. You can actually see him. You see him going, was that really me?
Was that me? Did I mean to do that?
They're usually going over the bar.
And I think to be fair, when you look at the game on a whole, I think, you know, Macclesfield will be happy to go back to Bolton. Financially, it'd be great for the club. You've gone through some hard times. You know, that's my first club as a manager. So financially, they're not great. Losing Keith and Richard Butcher's been really sad over the last year. So, you know, Keith would be proud of that game today, the way they fought up and where they hanged in there.
Yeah. It was entertaining to hear Owen Coyle say we don't deal in negativity. As a club, as a manager.
I don't know how he does it, because I used to go home and sit like that for about 3 hours on a Saturday night and then say I'm OK on the Monday.
I'm fine, I'm very positive.
I'm OK. Don't speak to me.
How many, if any, of the non-league teams could make it through to the 4th round draw? The best of some big days out for Wrexham, Tamworth, Salisbury and Fleetwood, all still to come. And we will attempt to discover exactly who the Cod Army really are. Now, Wrexham already have their place in FA Cup folklore, thanks to Mickey Thomas back in 1991. Today, the conference leaders were at Brighton, who are pushing for a place at the top end of the Championship.
And it's an opportunity for Brighton to run into the box and cause some mischief, and it's ever so close. The first chance of the game within a couple of moments of the start. Sisovic finds Tolly. Morel runs ahead of him, and it will come for Andy Morel. Looked for Tolly. Blocked, though, by Vancelot. Gets his cross in, though, to Spate. It was a good chance, and an even better one for Joe Clark. And were it not for the desperate tackle, Joe Clark would surely have scored. It was a great opportunity for Wrexham, and Brighton have a warning. Brighton work it well. Buckley just created some space for himself here, goes for the shot, and it went through two sets of legs for Brighton. But Mayebi, the goalkeeper, does really well. Doesn't use Forster-Caskey, instead will come across to Loire. Buckley wants it back again. Loire looks to tease Obeng, and he's got past him. Can send it across, and it goes into the net. And Brighton have snatched the lead here at the start of the second half. A great run across goal, and there was Forster-Caskey. Sisovic. There's 2 men on him, but Sisovic has found a way through, and Sisovic might get the goal. He has! Oh, the former Manchester City trainee has got the goal of his life. He has brought Wrexham from the Blue Square Premier level against Brighton. Now Agdista turns away from Obeng. Come here for Anton Rodgers. Rodgers will shoot, and it goes just over the bar. Ashton sends it forward. Drops here for Spate. Now Tolly! Oh, it's a great save from Brezovan. Tolly sends it back, and then Spate has the chance. And it was a real chance for Wrexham. They could have won it, perhaps should have won it.
Ooh, could have won it. Could have won it, Wrexham. And credit to them. We think of Crawley last year as a non-league side, went all the way to Old Trafford, and to be in the 4th round draw, even if it's via a replay.
The standard of the last 20 years, because of the pitches and the way the coaches are coaching now, has got far better. That was a terrific game. I watched a lot of that today. It was the standard of football for both sides was terrific.
Yeah.
It's not the usual, going back 20 years, the ball would get hammered forward, and the heads were up, and being mud and scrappy goals. Terrific football.
Speak for yourself, Gordon.
20 years. All right, 40 years ago. All right, 40 years ago.
He's been down that way. But no, to be fair, despite a change of manager, Andy Morel's taken over from Dean Saunders, and they're flying high, top of the Blue Square, and clearly good value.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, without a doubt. I mean, 2 points clear in the conference over Fleetwood. Looking at the game, you know, they went there with a game plan, played attacking football, had a go, and could have gone either way. and my old mate Jamie Tolley, who I had at Macclesfield many years ago, could have got the winner. But, yeah, I mean, they'd be happy to take them back to Wrexham. As I say, financially, it's another reward for them, and thoroughly deserved it.
Well done to them. 4 non-league sides made it through to the 3rd round of the FA Cup with Budweiser this season. Tamworth had perhaps the toughest test away to Everton, but about 5,000 fans made the trip from Staffordshire to Merseyside to see their team. The 3rd time in 6 years that Tamworth have made it to round 3. Commentary from Jim Proudfoot.
It's just a few weeks short of 100 years since Everton last lost to non-league opposition. Swindon back in 1912. An early corner for them here, taken by Donovan. Heitinger! Doesn't look as though it's going to happen today either. It's taken less than 5 minutes for Everton to break through. Their first corner of the game, expertly delivered by Landon Donovan. And John Heitinger there at the far post. It's taking a deflection off Francis as Everton take the lead. Billy led it off. Phil Neville getting booed every time he touches the ball by the Tamworth supporters. Nice turn by Gay. And Ichebe, good save. Hollister did really well to react. He's going the wrong way and stuck out a left foot. In from Neville. Donovan. Francis couldn't get it clear. Billy led it off. Just wide from James McFadden. Jimmy for Thomas on the counter-attack. McCoy. Here's Patterson. It's an excellent strong run. Just couldn't quite find the finish, Kyle Patterson. The boys frustrated at just how easy that was for Patterson to scythe his way through. Player who once played with Landon Donovan at the LA Galaxy. Fellaini. Yeah. Leighton Baines for Donovan. That's as close as they've come to goal number 2. Baines inside McCoy. Billy let it off, let him fly. Another good save from Collister. He's only making his 2nd appearance for the club today. It's a decent stop. Drenthe gets the return ball and he's brought down. And referee Madley gives a penalty. Just took a tumble, it's a soft penalty. Leighton Baines, normally so reliable from the spot, is so again. And Everton finally had that 2nd goal with only 10 minutes to go. Here's Landon Donovan, has had a good game on his 2nd debut for the club and very nearly marked him with a goal on his return to Goodison Park. Great attempt.
So that's the end of the road for this year for Tamworth. Now, one of the day's most keenly contested ties was the Fylde Coast derby between Blue Square Premier high flyers Fleetwood Town, the Cod Army, and Blackpool. 7 miles only separate the two towns, and a capacity crowd of 5,000 was at Highbury Stadium for only their 2nd ever meeting. Paul's son Thomas lined up for Blackpool, who were watched today by their former midfielder, Charlie Adam, and our commentator, Sam Matterface.
Phillips. Chipped over the top, Basham making the run. Loire is there as well! Loire puts Blackpool in front. There's the trademark celebration. Intelligent ball from Harris. Well struck from Loire. Excellent finish. Vardy back to Maguire, back to Vardy again. Fleetwood looking to respond. Great touch by Vardy. Good save. Chill can't react. Howard can. Great save from Howard after Vardy's work. Brilliant touch initially, and he had to be alert, Steve Howard. Nolte with the header. Here's Sylvestre.
Phillips. Harris continues to run. Here's Phillips. Into his right foot. What a goal that is from Matty Phillips. Blackpool and Town for Illuminations have lit up the FA Cup thanks to Matty Phillips. Blackpool 2-0 in front, and Matty Phillips gets his 5th goal in 4 games. Harris looking for Phillips. He was always looking for the top corner, and boy did he find it. Here's Sylvester. Eardley in towards Ince. It's a wonderful finish by Tom Ince. Sylvester out to the near side, Eardley with the cross, and first time on the volley. Tom Ince with a cracking finish. Well worked move by Blackpool. Given away by Phillips. Here's Vardy. He doesn't need an invitation. Jamie Vardy scores for Fleetwood, and the Cod Army go crazy. Flicked it past Baptiste, and it was an unerring finish. Great touch, great goal from Vardy. Here's Kavanagh. Lobbed by Sylvester. What they don't want to do now is concede on the breakaway. It's a real possibility too. Ince is free on the near side. The Wild's picked him out. Scott Davis has made the save. Matty Phillips with another finish. Matty Phillips gets his 2nd of the afternoon. And any hopes of a Fleetwood comeback well and truly vanquished. There was always a danger they would get another one on the counter-attack. And after Ince's shot was saved, it was easy for Phillips to make it 4. Those 3 are a real menace, and no one could stop Phillips in the end. Baptiste. Phillips winning that duel with Brown and getting into the penalty area. A chance for the hat-trick for Phillips. Oh, he gets the hat-trick with a wonderful finish. 3 very good goals for the most coveted striker in the Championship. 2 hat-tricks this season for him. 1 against Barnsley, now 1 in the FA Cup too.
Your dad has been sitting in our studio this afternoon watching the game.
Right, okay.
What's your message for him?
I scored my right foot. He always used to say his left foot was better than mine, but after he sees the goal, I'm sure he'll say my right foot's better than his left. But no, yeah, as I said, it's always nice to score a goal, but more importantly, to beat a strong Fleetwood side.
There is. There he is. Proud dad. There is a
the message should have been to Dad, relax, for goodness sake.
Exactly what I was going to say. There's an issue amongst football watchers called competitive dad syndrome. And I thought my dad had a bit of that until we watched, me and you watched him this afternoon.
Painful.
Oh, I didn't know what was the bigger shout, the miss or the goal.
To fair, I mean, I did speak to him after the game and, you know, obviously he was cock-a-hoop about scoring the goal, but I said, you know, you should have had a hat-trick today.
Yeah.
The one he missed in the first half, you know, he should score. But, you know, overall it was a good performance.
He wasn't as pleased as you, though.
Oh, I was over the moon, but...
You were?
No, it's good because obviously he's been frustrated the last month because he's not as many minutes as he would like to have done. But he's been patient. He's gone in and trained the right way like he should. And, you know, he started last week against Middlesbrough, played ever so well, and continued again today. So it's nice to put a goal with that performance.
Well, we'll have a look at the goal, but obviously as well the hat-trick that Matt Phillips scores because that was terrific by itself, wasn't it, fellas?
Yes, he's got a lot going for him. You know, he's quick, he's strong. He's got
lucky.
a wee bit of force in him. Yeah. Well, it all adds up to a good footballer, then, doesn't it?
Yeah, you both thought that was a good finish, better than perhaps it appeared. And then how about this for a hat-trick?
Strength of the game. At the end of the game, still going strong when other people are getting tired.
Yeah.
Then you can use your ability longer if you're fit and strong.
Most weeks you'd make him man of the match, but not today.
Well, Father was just saying before you asked Father, is he all left-footed? He went, yeah.
I mean, to be fair, I mean, the ball's behind him, so it makes it, you know, even a better technique than what we really thought. But I think the top 3 are working really well together. Thomas and Matty Phillips are roommates, which always helps. They've got an understanding.
So he should stay in the team. Is that your message to Ian Holloway tonight?
Well, listen, I think Ian Holloway's been fantastic. I mean, to be fair to Thomas, I mean, he's been at Liverpool most of his career. he's got to the age now where Liverpool reserves is not enough. There were a few clubs who were looking to take Thomas, but Ian Holloway's been fantastic. I think the way he plays football, plays expansive football, likes his players to play with freedom, and for me, you know, he's putting Thomas in the right way. You know, I think obviously every player wants to play week in and week out, but if he keeps playing like that, then you know, the manager's got a hard decision to make.
Fair to say the Ince dynasty is alive and kicking. So Blackpool emerged unscathed then in the Fylde Coast derby. That wasn't the case for some of their championship rivals. Stand by for more shocks and surprises in the third round after the break. So there were upsets elsewhere in the FA Cup today, although Salisbury's trip to Sheffield United wasn't one of them.
Salisbury were moving into new territory at Bramall Lane, their first ever appearance in the third round, but they met a Sheffield United side 84 places above them in the league ladder, and at times the gulf was clear enough to see. Chris Porter's opening goal came after 18 minutes, but while the scoreline remained at 1-0, the dream lived on for the Conference South side. They knew a second goal would probably kill them off, though, and it came after an hour, as Kevin McDonald's shot was deflected in by Ched Evans. And Salisbury knew their luck was out when Sheffield United went 3 up. An own goal from Danny Webb, the son of David Webb, a cup winner with Chelsea in 1970. Nobody would deny Salisbury a moment of celebration, which came with a goal of their own 4 minutes from time scored by Lloyd Macklin. But their cup run ended in the Steel City. Next up, a league trip to Thurrock on Tuesday night. You have to go back to January the 17th, 2001 for the last time QPR won an FA Cup tie. They've fallen at the first hurdle every season since, and they were heading out again when Heider Helgeson dawdled and Dean Bowditch didn't. At 1-0 down and reduced to 10 men by an injury to Alejandro Forlin, with all their subs used, QPR's cup prospects looked bleak, but they got the helping hand they needed from Don's keeper David Martin, whose blunder allowed Helgeson to make up for his. Rangers still haven't won in the cup this century, but they won't have too long to wait for another try. The rise of Crawley Town continues. Non-league until the beginning of this season, they look more and more like a club that's going places. And while this win over Bristol City rates as an upset, nobody will be hugely surprised that Steve Evans' League Two leaders are into the fourth round. Matt Tubbs got the only goal of the game, his 17th of the season. A good finish past former England goalkeeper David James. Bristol City finished the game with 10 men as Stephen Pearson picked up a second yellow card for a challenge on Josh Simpson with 8 minutes left. Crawley reached round 5 a year ago. They're edging closer to a repeat performance. Crawley's cup exploits last year overshadowed those of Stevenage, who put out Newcastle before losing to Reading in round 4. They grabbed their chance of revenge on the Royals with both hands, as Darius Charles scored in the tie for the second season running, and this time it was decisive. He should have added another before half-time, but Stevenage completed a very comfortable upset, forcing manager Graham Westley to deny rumours that he's heading for another job. In recent weeks, Doncaster's home form's improved significantly. 3 consecutive wins made them confident of avoiding an upset against Notts County. But their old problems returned, and a goal in each half from Jeff Hughes gave Martin Allen's side a place in round 4. His second came from the penalty spot after Carl Bennett's foul on Alan Sheehan. Hughes stepped up to score his 12th of the season, while Doncaster returned to the battle to avoid relegation, possibly without Billy Sharp. Rovers have agreed a transfer fee with Championship rivals Leicester. Sharp's now expected to meet the club for talks.
We'll see how that goes. Another couple of your old clubs. You've had a good weekend, actually. Notts County and MK Dons doing well.
Yeah, definitely.
Without you.
Without me, yeah. Thanks, Matt. Cheers. Make you feel better.
No, I'm only kidding.
No,
it's funny how pedigree gets established in the cup by those kind of teams, and Crawley, who did well last year, good win for them.
Yeah, definitely. I think I think Cole will be disappointed, obviously losing a goal in the last minute. You know, and obviously Notts County going to Doncaster. As we said, they've had some good results at home, beat Southampton. So for them to go there and get a 2-0, win, especially with their league form not being that good in the last 10 or 12 games, is a great result for them.
And Stevenage at Reading, that's a good result, isn't it?
That's a terrific result. You know, we went on about Macclesfield, drawn with them and some others, but that is a terrific result because Reading are a good side, a real good side, and to get that result there is terrific. That's one of the results of the day.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, when the draw for the third round of the FA Cup with Budweiser was made, a good few wondered if Aston Villa's trip to League Two Bristol Rovers might be one of the upsets. To judge from the strong team he picked, Villa boss Alex McLeish was taking a few chances. New caretaker manager Sean North was in the Rovers dugout following the midweek dismissal of Paul Buckle, and he had to make do without Rovers top goalscorer Matt Harrold, missing through injury.
Ireland. Petrov. It's a cute ball. Mark Oldh, Brighton. Aston Villa lead. It's taken more than half an hour for Villa to steady themselves after Rovers' bright opening and to strike.
Well, you've got to say this is a Premier League pass. The difference in the divisions, the movement from Old Brighton, the vision and the weight of the pass from Petrov. Brilliant disguise on it, and that's a good finish.
Petrov. Clark. Agbonlahor away from Bolger, who's injured, and Agbonlahor steers it a second. And the way the game is panning out, that should be enough to send Aston Villa into round 4.
Well, I think you're right there, John. Bristol Rovers, bottom the first opening minutes of the second half, played too deep, come well off the pace. Agbonlahor turns Bulger, he gets a little bit of luck there, but don't take away. This is a fantastic finish.
Clark. Silky footballer Kieran Clark, with bags of potential, and for a player who's now installed at centre-back, not a bad finish.
And this is a terrific run from the back. He's got skill as well, a couple of step-overs here, creates half a yard. Again, a bit like Agbonlahor, doesn't blast it, he just places it.
Oh, Dunn's back pass. Scott McLeish. Special moment for a player approaching his 38th birthday.
And it's a great finish. Lovely little ding. Just flips it over. Guzan, he's caught in between. Touch here. Little finish. Nice souvenir.
Oh, McLeish went for it. So did a teammate. Woodard, Villa in a little bit of disarray. Zabrowski. Was that handball? It looked like it. It's a penalty. Goodness me.
It is a handball. There's no doubt about that. Stephen Warnock.
It is the oldest striker in town who's going to take it. And he can't afford to waste any time. Effectively, he needs to score this. They need to kick off. They need to score again. McLeish, poor penalty. And there will be no grandstand finish.
We got a wee bit sloppy to death, a wee bit complacent, and we were punished. And you know, I thought going to 3-2 is going to make it look as if it was a real close encounter, but I felt that we controlled pretty much the whole game.
Alex McLeish largely not dealing in negativity. Would Stoke, West Brom, Swansea or Spurs slip up in round 3? 9 top-flight teams still to check on tonight. Goals and strikes are plenty on their way. Now, one of the year's big football events, the Africa Cup of Nations, starts in a fortnight, and it is on ITV4. We will have daily highlights plus live coverage of key games in a tournament that is always good to watch. As promised, then a check on the rest of the Premier League teams now, starting with a trip down memory lane for Stoke boss Tony Pulis as he returned to Gillingham.
Danny Jackman, 20 inch Shorten, Whelpdale's flick, it's Kedwell! Gillingham in front through their top scorer, Danny Kedwell. And the League 2 team have the breakthrough just past a quarter of an hour. Here's Walters, Jerome, Walters once again, and Stoke are level. Well, goalkeeper Flitney will feel he could have done better, but the cup finalists of last year have levelled the scores. Shotton's long throw, on by Shawcross, and Jerome there to pounce and turn the game around for the Premier League side. Shawcross off the crossbar with Jerome on hand. Palacios with the corner. Huth! A third for Stoke early in the second half. And the team 66 places superior in the football pyramid. Now 2 goals better off.
The Premier League side had to come from behind at Oakwell too, and Swansea's German goalkeeper Gerhard Tremmer led the edge taken off his debut by Barnsley's Portuguese striker Ricardo Vaz-Tê, his 9th goal in as many games. A 10th would arrive later, but in between Swansea showed their confidence and their commitment to the Cup. Just 2 changes by Brendan Rodgers to the side that won so impressively at Aston Villa last Monday. Nathan Dyer set up Angel Rangel for the equaliser within a minute of falling behind. And Swansea were equally quick to strike at the start of the second half as Danny Graham took the initiative in spectacular fashion. After that, only one outcome seemed likely, and when Swansea took to the wide open spaces again, a big win seemed on the cards. Wayne Routledge picking out Dyer for 3-1, and the Welsh side's wingmen had surely settled the tie. But with 25 minutes left, Barnsley bit back. Danny Drinkwater on loan from Manchester United delivered, and Vaz-Tê poached a second. And after looking outclassed, the Tykes were out for a replay. But Vaz-Té's afternoon was rather spoiled when he was caught in possession a minute from time. Routledge and Joe Allen helped Graham to Swansea's 4th and a 4th round spot, but harder than it might have been.
This was a rerun of the semi-final from back in 2008, only this time West Brom exacted their revenge. It was a frustrating start for Cardiff as Peter Odemwingie somehow managed to avoid the offside flag on his way to opening the scoring just 7 minutes in. Then Simon Cox doubled their advantage to put them on course for their first win over the Welshmen in 6 attempts. With a Carling Cup semi-final to come on Tuesday, Cardiff made 10 changes from their last starting 11, but still dragged themselves back into the match through Rob Earnshaw. On his 400th career start, he then helped provide the equaliser against his old club. He found Joe Mason, who in turn found the net, beating goalkeeper Ben Foster from a tight angle. With momentum starting to shift, the threat of an upset from the Championship side was growing, so Cox took it upon himself to deliver some Premier League class. The FA Cup third round is all about creating memories, so here's one James Morrison wishes he hadn't. The hard work done, he then hit the net on the wrong side of the post. Luckily, it wasn't costly. This week, Cox risked the wrath of his manager, claiming he may have to leave to find first-team football. Thanks to this hat-trick, that may not be necessary.
Spurs rested several of their regulars but still had too much for Cheltenham, and one of those making a rare start, Giovanni Dos Santos, had a hand in all the goals. Dos Santos looked like scoring the first himself with a neat chip until the striker's instinct overcame Jermaine Defoe. Around 5,000 fans followed the League Two side to North London, but they surely knew the game was up for them when Dos Santos and Defoe combined to set up Roman Pavlyuchenko for a second Spurs goal. Dos Santos has been a Tottenham player for 4 years now, but he spent much of that time on loan with various clubs and could well leave during the transfer window. This performance, capped by a late goal of his own, should increase the interest from around Europe. This was the 36th game of a season that began in June for his side, but no hint of Martin Jol taking a breather. The Fulham boss named pretty much his strongest available lineup, and unluckily for Charlton, that included Clint Dempsey. The American struck first 8 minutes in, and then linked up with Brian Ruiz just past the hour. But in between, the League One side created several good chances of their own, only for their fate to be sealed from the penalty spot after Ruiz was tripped by keeper John Sullivan. Dempsey duly dispatched his 3rd of the day and 12th of the season. And there was still time for a harsh scoreline to get even harsher on Charlton. Damien Duff's deflected strike summed up Fulham's fortune on the day in front of more than 20,000 at the Cottage. Yet another fixture for Yoel's men to contend with.
The third round isn't usually a happy occasion for Norwich. They'd won just 3 of their last 14 attempts at this stage. But once Grant Holt headed them into an early lead, they never looked like slipping up at Carrow Road. They strengthened their grip on this tie moments later as Canadian international Simeon Jackson rattled his header in off the crossbar to make it 2-0 in just 12 minutes. Burnley's response was rapid, a Ross Wallace cross finding the head of Jay Rodriguez, who gave his hometown club hope. That hope turned to frustration, though, as a cross from Norwich's Andrew Crofts was deemed to have struck Charlie Austin's hand in the box. So Holt got the chance to add his second from the spot, only to find the foot of the post instead. But Burnley's luck wouldn't hold much longer. This time last year, Paul Lambert was linked with the manager's job at Burnley, something for the visiting fans to chew over as Norwich took control in the second half. Andrew Sermon showed a cool head to make it 3-1. And then the win was wrapped up by Steve Morrison, a striker who's already been to Wembley 4 times with Stevenage, Millwall and Wales. He's now 3 more wins from taking Norwich there too.
A trip to a confident Newcastle side was perhaps the last thing Blackburn manager Steve Keane needed. Bigger battles lie ahead for him, trying to keep his team in the Premier League and keep himself in a job. For a while, though, David Goodwilly's first-half goal looked like making this a good day out. But even without Demba Ba and Cheick Tiote, who've departed for African Nations Cup duty, Newcastle had enough to battle back. First with a stunning individual goal from Hatem Ben Arfa. That looked like taking the match to a replay until the 5th minute of stoppage time. Another top-class Newcastle goal, this time from Jonas Gutierrez. And that meant another appearance for the Argentinian Spider-Man celebration mask. This West Midlands meeting certainly wasn't a classic, but those who resisted the urge to leave early were rewarded. In stoppage time, Doris de Vries denied Birmingham's highly rated teenager Nathan Redmond. And then Wolves substitute Matt Jarvis hit the post, thanks to a vital touch from keeper Colin Doyle, who also denied Stephen Fletcher. Chris Hughton's side already have a fixture backlog, but they'll have to find room for one more game.
Now, on the whole, fellas, we'd like to suggest that today's proved the magic of the third-round cup still alive and kicking. Possibly not altogether at St Andrews in the early kick-off from some of these scenes. This worried me. If that kind of yo-yoing is better than what's happening in front of you.
He just wants to be back at school, that kid,
definitely.
Doesn't he? Please
That's
get
saying something. And how about this one?
It's not bad, because then they can read it. I can read it. That.
No. Feet up.
No negativity there.
No negativity there. No negativity. And some terrific goals at Newcastle, as you saw. 15 important FA Cup goals still to show you. Ipswich, I'm afraid, went to Holland back, while Bradford popped down to Watford. Welcome back. There are 7 outstanding cup ties to bring you, starting with a goal fest at Vicarage Road.
There was never much prospect of an upset here, especially when Troy Deeney scored the opener for Watford after just 2 minutes. League 2 Bradford did come back briefly after a few lucky breaks in the penalty area. James Hansen popped up to thump an equaliser past Watford's teenage keeper Jonathan Bond on his debut. But Watford were far the better side, and they took the lead just before half-time. Marvin Sordell twisting, turning and scoring. The tie was effectively decided in 3 second-half minutes by Watford's young midfielder Craig Forsyth. His first was a tap-in the right place at the right time after Mark Yates's miss-hit. His second was rather more spectacular. A quick counter-attack from Watford set up a fearsome shot from 25 yards out. With 2 minutes left, Bradford managed a second consolation goal. Narky Wells touched it in from 6 yards out. But this was a really comprehensive win for Watford.
It's now a quarter of a century since Coventry's classic cup final win over Spurs, and their replica shirts inspired them as Gary McSheffrey fired them in front against Southampton. Around 200 City fans missed the goal, boycotting the first 15 minutes in protest at their club's slump to the bottom of the Championship. What they did see was the league leaders equalise through James Ward-Prowse. Coventry boss Andy Thorne said his 10-year-old son could have scored both of Southampton's goals. Not a ringing endorsement of Aaron Martin's match winner, but he still enjoyed his first senior strike.
Hull hadn't scored once over the Christmas period, but they raced into an early lead in this all-championship tie. First, Robbie Brady's brilliant run and pass set up Aaron McLean, who muscled his way to goal. And 5 minutes later, Tom Kearney spotted Ipswich keeper Aaron Lee Barrett off his line, punishing him with aplomb. Hull had 1 foot in the 4th round already. But Ipswich were much better in the second half, creating some good chances. There seemed to be little danger, though, when J. Emmanuel Thomas picked up the ball wide on the right. His speculative long-range shot was fumbled. Jason Scotland was first on the scene. At 2-1, Ipswich were back in the game. There were chances for an equaliser, but deep into injury time, Cameron Stewart made it 3-1 to Hull.
Shrewsbury's best FA Cup run for 9 years could easily have stretched further at Middlesbrough. The teams were separated by 2 divisions at the start, but just 1 goal at the end from Marvin Emnes.
Crystal Palace boss Dougie Freedman played what was effectively a youth team at Derby, and it showed. Theo Robinson scored for the home side within the first 10 minutes. Derby had 11 shots on target, but despite their domination, 1-0 is how it stayed.
An East Midlands derby full of promise, but short of goals. Forest had a fair crack at their rivals in the first half. Andy Reid's dipping, curling effort almost beating Kasper Schmeichel. The 8,000 travelling Leicester fans were teased by a double miss. David Nugent's header well saved by Lee Camp, and Lloyd Dyer wasting the rebound that will haunt him till the replay.
This was a great result for Dagenham, achieved without 11 first-choice players. Millwall should really have scored in the first half. This effort from Liam Feeney, one of a string of chances. Dagenham are struggling in League Two, but they kept the Championship side out, and Mickey Spillane was close to securing a cup shock. A replay will do very nicely, though.
I'm sure it will. Good luck to all of those that face replays. Of course, that could apply tomorrow. I've got to ask you before we go, both of you won the Cup with Manchester United. Can they afford, Paul, to lose a 3rd game on the spin? Obviously at the Etihad tomorrow lunchtime?
No, I mean, at the end of the day, it depends what team Alex Ferguson puts out. I think it's not the fact they've just lost the last 2 games, it's the fact they've conceded 6 goals in those 2 games. And, you know, tomorrow's not just about the FA Cup, it's about supremacy, having the bragging rights. So it'd be interesting.
Of course, Mancini's down at the bare bones, we gather, so no sympathy
Do
there.
they not have a reserve team or youth team?
Apparently not, no.
Obviously not. They're just having that for the sake of having it. But I just want to see Man City without Yaya Toure, because I think he's been terrific this year. Because David Silva's kind of tailed off just a wee bit, but he's kept on going. I'd like to see how they do tomorrow. I don't think United will get beat tomorrow.
Don't you?
Nope. Does that surprise you, like?
Well,
the way you look to me, it looks
interesting to see if Wayne Rooney starts as well. You know, and we're at Peterborough for Sunderland, aren't we?
Yeah, we're looking forward to that.
We are.
We better get a move on.
We had. Actually, kick off at 3:30. We better get started. A reminder before we go that, as you'll have gathered, ITV1 has 2 live ties on Sunday, starting with that Manchester derby at 12:30 lunchtime. That is followed by Peterborough Sunderland at 3:30. And, of course, the draw for the 4th round of the FA Cup with Budweiser is live from Wembley Stadium at 6:20. Thank you very much to Gordon and to Paul. Lovely to have you both along tonight. So, like their manager, Swindon Town have been on the roller coaster in recent years, but where there's Paolo, there's plenty of passion. One manager, of course, that doesn't deal in negativity. Night from us. Evening to you. The third round of the FA Cup is a bit like an extension of Panto season, a time for fairy tales and giant killings. Mind you, when Manchester's big two were drawn together, who were the goodies and who the baddies? Tonight's show will also feature Chelsea against Portsmouth, Sunderland's trip to Peterborough and the best of the rest of the weekend's action. Keeping me company will be Gordon Strachan, himself an FA Cup winner with Manchester United back in 1985. His old side were at the noisy Neighbours earlier today, complete with Paul Scholes out of retirement and on the bench. Your commentators at the Etihad Stadium were Andy Townsend and first, Clive Tilsey.
All kinds of rumours and speculation about who would and wouldn't start. No Tourés, no Balotelli. So City make 6 changes to the team that beat Liverpool here last week. Joe Hart is rested, so 6 feet 8 inch Romanian Costel Pantilimon plays in goal. United only make 2 changes in the end. Chris Smalling is fit enough to start. After all, Danny Welbeck gets the recall and Paul Scholes is on the bench. Andy Townsend, a lot's been said and written about who are the favourites for this one. Are Manchester City justifiably clear favourites?
Yeah, I think so, Clive. I think, considering they had a very impressive 3-0 victory here over Liverpool just under a week ago, United back-to-back defeats, lots of question marks about the visitors here today. Yeah, I think City, with the quality they have out, despite 1 or 2 notable absentees themselves, they are definitely in the ascendancy right now.
He was spiky and guarded in his pre-match press conference yesterday, which is usually a good sign for Manchester United. Seemed keen to express the opinion that Tottenham Hotspur are playing the best football in the country at the moment. I wonder why he chose this weekend to say that. Ooh, Lindegaard wanted a long time there, didn't he? It is a goal kick. He got away with that.
Did indeed, Clive. Great work rate from Sergio Aguero. The minute that's rolled back to the goalkeeper, he's after it. Look, at real pace, genuine pace. And the goalkeeper's lucky. Fortunately, he's taken far too much time with that.
Lindegaard not hanging around this time. Richard's much bigger than Nani. Here's Giggs. Rooney. Options right and left here for Wayne Rooney. This is Antonio Valencia. In towards the head of Rooney! First blood to Manchester United. And the name of Wayne Rooney is in the headlines again. Goal scorer. Superb header. It was he that freed Valencia. Pantilimon given no chance. And Wayne Rooney, for the 7th time in his Manchester United career, scores against Manchester City.
First time in the game, Ryan Giggs is able to look forward, get his head up, provide Rooney. It's a brilliant first-time cross from Valencia. What about the header? Nani does well because he creates a problem just by being there. But that's a fabulous header from Wayne Rooney, arriving at real pace. And you know what? Never mind Joe Hart, Pantilimon nowhere near that. Nobody's stopping that one. That is a phenomenal finish.
Giggs seizing on the loose ball. This is Nani. The referee had a think about that and is going to penalise the Manchester City. Oh, it's red card for Kompany. A red card for Vincent Kompany. Manchester City down to 10 men inside 12 minutes. It was two-footed. For me, it was low.
Amazed, I must be honest, Clive. At first thought, it is scissor, it is, but it... You know, you do, if you lunge in like that, you're in trouble, but that is so low to the ground, I cannot see that as a red card. You know, I know you don't have to see a player lying on the floor with a broken leg to brandish a card, I respect that, but that challenge to me there seems committed, yes, perhaps, potentially, a little bit borderline, but straight red, I'm sorry, I can't see it.
Here's Aguero. Oh, it's a tremendous save by Lindegaard. Curling, arcing shot by Sergio Aguero. But Anders Lindegaard threw himself to his left to keep it out.
And at full stretch, and he had to. It's a really, really interesting effort that is from Aguero. He has a look, and he's always looking to fade that into that far corner.
Corner taken by Johnson. Richards trying to reach it. Goal kick given. The headline news this morning, the presence of Paul Scholes among the Manchester United substitutes. Turned 37 in November. Registered now and available for the remainder of the season. That's loose from Ferdinand. Silva's found Aguero. He's all alone for now. Aguero, side netting.
Well, Rio Ferdinand may be having a go at Phil Jones. I think it's a sloppy ball out to him. It's a casual ball, and it's not a ball that favours him in any way. He's running back towards his own goals, even if he gets it. At this point, Aguero is now running at Smalling. He chooses the more acute route and ends up firing it into the side netting.
Nani. Got support from Evra here. Plenty of red shirts in the box. Came off Welbeck. Welbeck's volley, 2-0. Manchester United 2 up in half an hour. Danny Welbeck looked as if the chance had gone, but he managed to improvise a volley. His first goal since the start of October has given Manchester United clear daylight here in the third round derby.
Brilliant finish from Danny Welbeck, very athletic. It's Patrice Evra who manages to get to the byline. Great work from Nani. Now he's just got to try and pick somebody out. And at that point there, De Jong looks favourite and just seems to pull his foot back right at the last minute, Clive, in order to clear it. And it's just that split second Danny Welbeck needs to take full advantage, turn, swivel, and volley that right into the corner. Once more, Pantilimon, no chance.
Rooney to Giggs, slipped through to Danny Welbeck, tackle came in, penalty. Kolarov penalised, and it goes from bad to worse for Manchester City. And Welbeck inquiring as to whether there'll be any further punishment. Phil Jones quite rightly putting him out of the way.
Quick feed from Danny Welbeck. I think it's a penalty. I think that one the referee gets right. Decent ball in from Ryan Giggs, good quick feed in, just that extra little touch right there. Just takes him away from Kolarov. He's committed to the challenge, upends him, and it's a pen.
No question of a red card, Richards was covering. It's Wayne Rooney again. Save by Pantilimon, and Rooney heads in the rebound. And Manchester United lead by 3-0. Third goal, which took a moment or two to arrive. Costel Pantilimon can count himself unfortunate, but Wayne Rooney kept his head in every sense. And Manchester United are in dreamland, 3 up.
It's a good save from the goalkeeper. He guesses right, throws himself to his left, and it's just comes straight back into the path of Rooney, who takes full advantage. Good stop that is. Almost hits him on the inside, just at the base of the wrist, and just goes straight back towards Rooney, who thankfully, gleefully manages to just pop that one straight back in the other corner. Thank you. I think we came here expecting to see something fiercely competitive, very tight. Of course, Rooney's goal livened the game up, opened it up to all extents, but sending off, no question that is so key.
Valencia, it's a Welbeck! Just needed a slightly firmer touch, and that would have been 4.
The ball in from Valencia is so quick. It's difficult for Danny Welbeck to actually get a foot on that. Just does well, just stretches out. Comes across so fast that he just can't quite get his foot on it enough.
And here's Richards, who has that adventurous streak about him. Pulled to the ground by Evra. Play's gone on and has been pulled back. Evra's going to get a yellow card.
Patrice Evra is here, who's got his arms all over Micah Richards. In the end, he just sort of bundles into him. Correct decision, and he does deny City an opportunity to gain some momentum. They've got players pouring forward. Quite rightly gets a yellow card.
Kolarov with the left or Nasri with the right? It's Alexander Kolarov. Oh, yeah. And Manchester City have got a goal back. Beautifully delivered over the United wall by Kolarov. And what difference will that make to the mood and to Manchester City's approach?
Well, it won't do him any harm, that's for sure. Great strike from Kolarov. Just catches it nice and sweet, doesn't try and hit it too hard, just makes sure he gets it over the top of that wall, because he knows it's going to dip down. Lindegaard at full tilt, can't get it.
Jones. Going to go all the way here, Phil Jones. And De Jong went all the way with him. Corner kick.
Good tackle, Nigel De Jong. Phil Jones just felt that he burst through that little gap there, and all of a sudden he was going to be flashing it across the 6-yard box. Good work from De Jong. It's an important foot in.
Valencia. Pulled back to Rooney. Not far away. Last man to score a hat-trick in a Manchester derby.
Go on.
Andrei Kanchelskis. The return of Paul Scholes. Scholes to Jones. Valencia. Carrick. Scholes. They knew what they want. Welbeck. Valencia. Brought down by Kolarov, was he? Chris Foy has a look and says no. It was a very clumsy, sprawling block.
Was. Another clumsy challenge from Kolarov again. Watch, he's square on and then he just sort of tries to block. That looks like a penalty. That looks like another thing, because Valencia's very quick, clips it past him. What's that? Yeah, it's a penalty.
That's loose from Scholes. Cross from Milner. Aguero! He's going to get another chance. And Manchester City are right back in business. Paul Scholes' error. More than a quarter of this cup tie still to play. And Manchester City down and out of the break. Have a chance, a real chance.
Wow. Now we do have a game on. You're right, Clive, it's a sloppy one from Paul Scholes. Brilliant ball that is from Milner. The first time shot from Aguero is good. And I'm afraid Lindegaard all he can do is just try and stop it, and he reacts quick. He's sharper than Chris Smalling. As soon as he hits that, he's moving again. Where is it? Where's that ball? Is it there in the loose? Yes! And he goes and bangs it straight in the back of the net. Brilliant finishing.
Man coming off is Samir Nasri. I know in Hargreaves will make his 4th appearance for Manchester City. Milner has released Kolarov. Pulled back towards Aguero, cut out, corner kick. Manchester City won a penalty. Jones went sliding in, he says chest, so does the referee. You see what Manchester City say.
Well, it's hit so hard. Very, very difficult for the referee to see this one.
Oh, it's his arm. It's his arm. Now Zabaleta. Richards is forward. Look at Micah Richards here. Rio Ferdinand's fouled him. Going to be a yellow card, I think, for Ferdinand. It's going to be a free kick for Manchester City, and their comeback will rest on the outcome of this free kick. Here's the game, folks.
Today's City man of the match is Sergio Aguero.
Alexander Kolarov, who started the comeback, will now attempt to complete it. Lindegaard saved it, and it bounced for Smalling to get clear. Could easily have bounced to Lescott. It was a nervous stop, but he stopped it.
Wow. That came at the goalkeeper very hard. And you're right, he didn't know much about it. He got enough on it, and it just eluded Lescott.
Finest of margins. Last of the added minutes. Up goes Richards, up goes Smalling, though. He got the highest. Chris Foy got in the way. Valencia couldn't get it clear. Zabaleta with a shot. Under pressure, corner. Goalkeeper's on the way, the biggest man in the Premier League, 6'8", Postel Pantilimon. Kolarov takes. Pantilimon, he reached it too. Wouldn't you just know it, the goalkeeper got his head to it. But he couldn't direct it goalwards. He's got to get back to his own goal now. It's been an amazing afternoon, but it's Manchester United who will go into the 4th round of the FA Cup. It looked like they would stroll there at half-time when they led by 3 goals to 0. But Manchester City rallied brilliantly. The scoreline, the final scoreline, is only half the story of the match. It is Manchester City 2, Manchester United 3.
What do you hope this might do in terms of momentum, winning here in the League Championship race, and for your team for the rest of the season?
I don't think this is any good at all today, because it was a chaos performance the second half. We should have really been home and dry with a clear scoreline, but we didn't. We were too chaos in the second half, and that's the area in which if we keep doing that, we're going to make mistakes.
Was the key moment in the match the sending off, and was it a red card?
Sure.
It was or it wasn't?
Yeah, it was.
I know it was. Do you think it was a red card?
Yeah.
Rightly so. Was it correctly given?
Yeah, it was the... What do you think?
I'm asking you.
It's better that we talk the game, not the referee.
What about Wayne Rooney's level of performance? What did you make of it?
There's absolutely no problem with Wayne. We do this stuff all the time, and what Wayne has got to realise, the press have got another Gascoigne. They've got a headline maker all the time, whether it's good or bad, and he's going to have to suffer with that. But the best thing is when he's good, and that's the kind of things we want to see right today.
Do you feel he had a point to prove more than usual today?
No, not at all. I think everything which has been in the press of late is a load of nonsense, really, and because it's me, because it's Manchester United, it's blown up out of context, so there's no problems with me at this club. I want to be at this club for a long time.
Some game it looked, Gordon, affected hugely by the red card?
Yeah, on your pantomime theme, I think the villain was the referee.
Yes.
It did. It does affect a game, 10 men. There's absolutely no doubt, but especially when you get to that level. So at one point we thought, it could be 6-1 here. And then Man City, the quickly assembled squad for this amount of money, people are asking, does it have a team spirit? And it does. And it has a clever manager as well, because he changed the system. And I think he went, right, 3-0, but we're not going to get beat by many. But in fact, he changed it, and they got these chances and scored these goals, so it showed that He's clever enough. He sees things on the pitch, and the team have got a team spirit. But it was a terrific game of football.
It was. The decision itself from the referee, harsh for you?
I think it's harsh because go back 30 years, 20 years. I was in the receiving end of a 2-footed tackle. As a player, you don't know how, when you're in control of the ball, you don't know where to go. You know, put your foot in, do you take the kick, and it could be bad. But I think the one we're really trying to get is a 2-footed tackle where the guy throws himself at it, propels himself at it, and thrusts himself into it, and it hits the ball with studs, or it hits a leg with a stud. He's actually sat down a bit and collected the ball with his instep. So I don't think there was any real danger. So the way he's went, he had plenty of time, he sat down, and yet when you put one leg in like that, you have to take the other one with you. It doesn't stay behind. And I really think, and I looked at it, and the referee took a wee while to decide about it, and he must have thought, that's not really bad, but I've been told to do this.
So that was probably behind his thinking. Paul Scholes' thinking, Sir Alex's thinking in bringing him back out of the blue?
Well, it depends where Paul himself says, listen, I want to get back and playing, I can help you out. Because I think Paul's got such a love for the club that he doesn't want to see them going through a bad spell. And probably Alex hoping he's got to say it. But we never know how the conversation went. It could have been some of his players, teammates saying, listen, we could do with you back.
Yeah.
You know, I was put in that position myself. I was the manager of Coventry. When the players asked, you know, could you come back and play a few games with us? I didn't really want to play, but when you want to help out, you'll do anything.
Yeah. And Wayne Rooney, the perfect response to any critics that suggested he wasn't keen to stay?
That's not going to happen. People will fall out with the manager now and then. That's for sure. I don't even know if they're falling out. There's times where you don't really want to speak to the manager, and the manager doesn't want to speak to you. That happens. There's no doubt about that. But if you look at the first goal, and people say, well, defenders could have been... It was a magnificent goal because he's up there and he's thrown his head at it. And he knows fine well, if he'd missed times that they get there, he's going to hurt himself. So you don't do that if your heart's not in it. He wanted to play for his teammates and his club. I thought it was a terrific, terrific header, showing he has everything.
A big win then for the red half of Manchester. There's more action from today's FA Cup third round on the way as Andre Villas-Boas attempts to lift a little gloom at Stamford Bridge. Portsmouth, the side looking to pile on the pressure. Welcome back. Having fallen behind in the race for the title, Chelsea's best hope of silverware could well lie with the FA Cup. Somewhat beleaguered boss Andre Villas-Boas was hoping to continue the club's strong tradition in the competition with the win against Portsmouth today, a rematch of the 2010 final. Jim Proudfoot saw this one.
Between them, these two clubs have won the FA Cup with Budweiser in 4 of the last 5 seasons. Today, their 2 young managers both experienced this magical competition for the first time as the boss. Chelsea are without Drogba, the man who scored the winner against Portsmouth in the 2010 final, is on African Cup of Nations duty. But Villas-Boas has named his strongest possible side with 6 former Cup winners in the 11, including Lampard. Pompey includes 7 with Premier League experience, among them Ricardo Rocha, Mullins and McQuainer, survivors of the 2010 final. But there's no place for one-time Chelsea nemesis and former Cup winner Carnu. Jason Pearce for Portsmouth. And Kitson, and he's got goal side. A glorious opportunity for Kitson in the opening 20 seconds. A routine long ball forward from Jason Pearce. Through touch, getting something on it. Kitson got in between Luis and Terry and might have done better. John Terry. Malouda's ball in, and Torres forces a wonderful save from Henderson. Well, he's only ever scored once in the FA Cup, Fernando Torres, and he came very close to doubling his tally there. Good ball from Malouda. And Torres found a yard of space and forces a really good stop from Stephen Henderson in the Portsmouth goal. Now Ward. That was a vital interception by Morelos. Norris had made a superb run forward and ends up with the ball at his feet anyway. And has support. Chose to go alone. Petr Cech was at full stretch. It all came about after the mistake from Ashley Cole. Relish not expecting the return pass. Czech would have had it covered. Malouda's delivery. Pearce stretching to clear. Appeals for handball against Ashley Cole. Here's Malouda. And pulled back from Mata, who scores for Chelsea. And an element of controversy about the goal as well, because Portsmouth adamant that it should have been a handball in the build-up. Didn't look like a handball by Ashley Cole. Kitson had stopped appealing for it. And in doing so, just allowed Malouda to make his way inside the penalty area. And Juan Mata had the simple job of netting his 6th goal of the season. Relief all round Stamford Bridge as Chelsea break through. David Luiz caught in possession by Kitson. Futash, it's a good turn. And Petacek with a vital stop. And then Terry with a vital stop. And Norris forces a 3rd save. This one from the Chelsea keeper. John Terry down hurt, but has saved his side. Portsmouth would have had a certain equaliser had Terry not been able to make up for the mistake by David Luiz. Excellent turn by Futash, who scored in his last 2 games, but it was a crucial stop. Helped in by Mata. Torres. It was Lawrence that was back to hook the ball clear. Only as far as Ashley Cole, who's never scored an FA Cup goal. In from Torres, and Ramirez got there first. Did really well. Sneaking goal side of Ricardo Rocha, but couldn't get any power in the header. Excellent ball forward from Cole and selfless play from Torres, almost supplying Ramirez with Chelsea's 2nd goal. Lovely turn from Ramirez, taking 2 Portsmouth players out of the picture in the process, and still he's maintained possession. Lampard, Mata. Torres has found some space in the middle, and Ramirez! The game is safe. Chelsea finally finding the 2nd goal. Mata with the ball in. As Torres couldn't quite get there, Ramirez who continued his run from that right flank, and is able to get the toes of his boot to it to flick it past Henderson. Chelsea have a 2-0 lead. Portsmouth's brave resistance now surely over. Back for Eric Housekla. Lawrence. 4 inside the penalty area, but it wasn't the best cross, which was easily cut out by Ramirez. And now it's 2 against 1 as Torres finds Ramirez. He wants the return ball. Ramirez might go alone and does to make it 3. A flattering gloss being put on the scoreline at the end of this game by Ramirez, who strikes twice in 3 minutes. Now Fernando Torres would have wanted the ball to be played back to him, but instead Ramirez went alone, and it's a superb finish. 2 late goals from Ramirez and a 3-0 Chelsea lead. Mata. It's a delicious crossfield ball. Now Ramirez as Chelsea look for goal number 4 in stoppage time. Henderson punches clear. It's Basingwa. Romeo with a touch. And a good touch as well. And it is for, with almost the last kick of the game from Frank Lampard. In a week in which his name has been linked with the move to Manchester United, he shows that he's still very much part of Chelsea. His 180th goal for the club. And 3 goals in the last 5 minutes of this game have given Chelsea a 4-0 victory.
The first goal, Dave Kitson appealed for a handball. What was your view at the time?
Yeah, I mean, obviously we thought it was handball at the time. Having looked at it again, obviously, you know, it does look as if it was handball, but, you know, it was a little bit disappointing, obviously, because like, we felt it was a free kick, but, you know, ultimately, obviously, you know, we've still got to react to that and defend better. From my point of view, there's 2 ways we can do it. We can obviously take the positives that we did for 80-odd minutes, make sure we use that and utilise that in the league games that we've got coming up, or we can feel sorry for ourselves.
Now, Martin O'Neill led Leicester to the League Cup on 2 occasions, and as a player he won almost everything going. Almost. The FA Cup has so far eluded the new Sunderland manager. His side faced a potential banana skin today against Championship team Peterborough. Your commentator is Jim Beglin, and first, Peter Drew.
Let us be entertained. We've certainly come to the right place. Posh supporters see more goals than any others in the land. Peterborough's team, though still without McCann and Frecklington, is reinforced by the return to fitness of Lee Tomlin. And Sunderland, reinvigorated by Martin O'Neill, go as strong as they possibly can in the injury absence of Bentler and of Brown. Bardsley is back, Sessegnon leads the line. We have last season's cup final referee, Martin Atkinson. What they do have in common, these two, is form. Neither of them lost over Christmas. Both are riding a wave of confidence. Sunderland are suddenly top half. Posh nearer the playoffs than the bottom 3. They can both afford to go for it. Here is Gardner for Sunderland, having a crack, drawing a save from Lewis, and it's behind by Alcott for a corner.
Yeah, Lewis will be relieved that his defenders followed it up, because maybe he could have actually parried it to a wider position, but you can't afford to let Greg Gardner get any room at all. It's a slip from Boyd, he's robbed, and Gardner looks up, nothing else on. That's a very good strike.
Oh, a smashing ball from Bennett. Here's Tomlin, who loves to run and try and get in behind the full-back, and almost achieved that. Bardsley was a full stretch, and Posh have a corner.
By the way, it's the Premier League past this. That's an absolute beauty from Bennett to pick out Tomlin. What about the first touch as well to help him on his way? Bardsley just about recovered it.
It's Paul Taylor with the Peterborough corner, and Boyd went unnoticed, and it was struck into Sinclair and hit again wide by Tommy Rowe from left back.
Well, it was clever from Boyd. Just watch the dummy from Boyd, number 10 there, just to allow the first strike. And then when it just finds its way back to Tommy Rowe, he's slightly off balance when he hits it, and he can only prod it in the direction he's facing. And unfortunately for him, that's just minimally wide.
Richardson, McLean. Calmly out by Zakuani. It's a good ball from Tomlin, and it frees Taylor, who has Sinclair with him. Running up Kilgallen. Taylor! That's thrilling stuff. Once they have the ball, Peterborough, once there's wind in their sail.
I mean, right from the clearance, that's just played into Tomlin. Look how quick Tomlin releases it. He knows cat to mow. And once Taylor's away, he's aware of the options around him. He's got a good run to the right from Sinclair, who wanted it. I think he's right to have a pop in the end, and he wasn't that far away. Mignolet is well positioned, but very, very good break.
2,500 have travelled down from Sunderland, 200 miles on the A1. Always a vocal lot. There goes McLean, he's gone flying. Sunderland's free kick, Alcott the offender.
Yeah, and again, you know, Larson, the one's going to whip this in. I mean, Sam was just closing him down. To be honest with you, Peter, I think he makes the most of that.
Whipped in by Larson, all the way! It's the quality he brings. Uplift for Martin O'Neill.
Well, I think that's done a lot. When you got an in-swinger like this, which Larson is bringing to it, Gardner's the one who looks to try and flick it on, but I'm not sure he makes any contact. But when you've got an in-swinger like that, there's always a chance, if nobody gets their head on it, it's been aimed towards the far post with bend, and sometimes it can just carry all the way in.
Gardner running at Zakuani, Larson alongside him. It's Seb Larson, and Lewis has got down to it, and Zakuani's ferried it away.
Yeah, I think Lewis probably pleased that it was actually hit on the near post at him, because you're thinking here, Larson, if he fires it across goal, then might have a better chance.
Sessegnon for Richardson. McLean wants it tight to the touchline. And he runs away from Alcott. James McLean! Shot deflected behind.
Yeah, there's a little row just breaking out, and the keeper's got involved. I thought Tunnicliffe could have... He cuts in really well, McLean. Tunnicliffe there, I think if he's not on his heels, he intercepts that, and I think that's why they were having a little bit of a pop at him.
Aimed at O'Shea. Zakuani nudged it behind.
Oh, look at John O'Shea, hands on the head. I mean, I think he's irritated by Zakuani's presence.
O'Shea and Kilgallen together again, just behind the penalty spot. Gardner on their shoulder. Larson's take 2-0. James McLean with his second Sunderland goal, their second of the afternoon, which brings about their likely passage into the FA Cup's last 32.
But look at the ball in from Larson again. It's just crying out for somebody to just get any sort of nick on it, and into the pile. It just falls nicely for McLean. Absolutely nothing they can do about it on the line.
We had opportunities. We had a period in the first half where we threatened, but nothing sustained. You know, we didn't sustain any pressure on them. You know, and the goals were lost are poor goals. To lose from 2 set pieces is always disappointing. But if we learn from it, we'll be fine. That's the most important thing. We've got to learn from today.
I thought in the second half we closed down closer to their goal, and we became more effective. We got the goal, obviously, at a very important moment for us, settled us down, and I thought eventually we won well.
So, Sunderland safely through. After the break, Sam Allardyce's West Ham side take a break from chasing an immediate return to the Premier League as they headed to Hillsborough to face Sheffield Wednesday. We'll also reveal the lineup for the 4th round, so don't go away. Now,
Manchester City. He is a phenomenon.
This special footballing nation.
Mark Cavendish, he makes it look easy.
Class and quality written all over that.
plenty to look forward to in 2012 and plenty still to come from us tonight. We'll have Gordon's views on the 4th round draw in just a moment. First, though, the best of the rest of the action from this weekend, beginning with today's meeting between Sheffield Wednesday and West Ham.
It's not too many years since these two teams locked horns in the Premier League. But Wednesday's current status as a League One side made them the underdogs at Hillsborough, and they could have trailed early in the second half when Raider Johnson fouled Winston Reid. But Sam Baldock's penalty was saved by Nicky Weaver. And it was to be a costly miss. The game was held up for several minutes by a nasty head injury to Julian Bennett. But just moments after he'd been carried off on a stretcher, Wednesday came up with the winner. Ryan Lowe's pass found Chris O'Grady, and he found the far corner. And after surviving 11 minutes of stoppage time, the three-time cup winners were into round 4.
11 years ago, Paolo Di Canio scored an FA Cup winner for West Ham at Old Trafford, and this is his best moment in the competition since. It didn't look that way when Callum McManaman was fouled by Aidan Flint, and Ben Watson stepped up to take the penalty, which turned into an assist for McManaman to finish the job. Roberto Martinez's much-changed side didn't lead for long, pegged back by the constant probing of Matt Ritchie, who found the head of Alan Connell 5 minutes before half-time. And the League Two club were heading for the 4th round for the first time since 1996, when Ritchie's strike was deflected in by substitute Paul Benson, who joined from Charlton on New Year's Day. Another look revealed that Swindon had had the stroke of luck they perhaps deserved with the offside decision. But few would begrudge the manager the chance to dedicate this win to his father, who passed away just before Christmas. Forest or Leicester will hold few fears in round 4.
Bolton were close to becoming another Premier League side to fall to League Two opponents as they endured an uncomfortable time at Macclesfield. An early goal from Ivan Klasnic could have led to a routine afternoon for Owen Coyle, who'd made 6 changes to the Bolton team that beat Everton in the Premier League in midweek. But crucially, Macclesfield's response was quick. They had a couple of chances even before Colin Daniels' equaliser. And brought on by the home fans, they took the lead with a moment Arno Mendy will never grow tired of seeing. Macclesfield were briefly heading for the fourth round for the first time in their 138-year history, and Bolton were going out. That was until David Wheater's rescue act with 13 minutes left. But Macclesfield will settle for a replay and the increased revenue that will bring.
This cup tie turned out to be the last act in Neil Warnock's tenure as QPR manager, as the club announced his dismissal earlier today. Their problems in the Premier League are the major factor, but Warnock was also unable to end Rangers' 11-year wait for a win in the FA Cup. Dean Bowditch's goal for MK Dons was cancelled out late on by Heider Helgeson, and if they can win the replay, the club's new boss could face a visit from Chelsea in round 4.
Fleetwood's Cod Army said goodbye to the Cup for another year, well beaten in the end by a Blackpool side who had the game's outstanding individual, Matt Phillips. This was his first of the afternoon, and it gave his team a 2-0 lead, which became 3 before the moment the home fans had been waiting for, a goal for their team, scored by Jamie Vardy. Phillips at fault there, but in the end Blackpool avoided the obvious pitfalls of taking on non-league opponents who lived just down the road. 7 miles separate the clubs, but with Phillips around, there was no danger the Championship side would take their opponents lightly. The game's flair player scored twice more to complete his second hat-trick of the season. The last goal with a terrific run and finish. 7 goals in 4 matches for him now, and that means talk of a big move will increase. But his current manager Ian Holloway insists Blackpool don't need to sell their best players.
After this game, Graham Westley faced questions about his future as Stevenage manager amid speculation linking him with the vacancy at Preston. If this was his farewell, it avenged Reading's win when the sides met in round 4 last season, thanks to Darius Charles' first-half goal.
It's Notts County next for Stevenage after they won 2-0 against a Doncaster side missing 1 key player. Striker Billy Sharp watched from the stands as 2 goals from Jeff Hughes created the upset at the Keepmoat. Sharp could soon be a Leicester player after the 2 clubs agreed a fee, and he'll be badly missed by Doncaster if he leaves. Hughes consigned them to an FA Cup exit with a goal in either half. His second came from the penalty spot.
Four years ago, David James won the Cup with Portsmouth, but the Bristol City keeper has no further interest this year, thanks to Matt Tubbs' 17th of the campaign. Crawley Town are on the road to Hull next.
Wrexham are the only non-league side left in the Cup, and with home advantage in their replay with Brighton, they'll fancy their chances of reaching round 4. The conference leaders had to come from behind after Jake Forster-Kasky gave Brighton the lead. But the Welsh team came up with an equaliser from Adrian Cieslewicz, and their confidence is growing by the game. Their last league defeat was in September, and thanks to Cieslewicz, they're still going strong in the Cup. Win the replay, and they'll play Newcastle next.
It is then, as you'll have gathered from the roundup, quite a 4th-round draw for the FA Cup. Wrexham could be hosting Newcastle. Sunderland will be hosting Middlesbrough. Those 2 attractive possible ties. QPR, now without Neil Warnock, may well be playing Chelsea, possibly with John Terry. Of course, good and bad reasons all around that tie. And Arsenal or Leeds will entertain Aston Villa. Manchester United, after that win against City, are off to Anfield, of all places, to play Liverpool. Again, there'll be all manner of headlines around that game, and ties all across the 4th round, including Watford-Tottenham, do catch the eye. Let's start, if we may, Gordon, with the decision of the QPR owner Tony Fernandes to dispense with Neil Warnock this evening. The right decision?
Well, just like managers, it's not so much how you coach teams and put them together, it's decisions you make. And they're also the man right at the top has to make big decisions. And he's made one. So he's put his head in the line. You know, so at the end of the season, if they stay up, then it's a good decision. If it doesn't, then he's made a wrong decision.
That, of course, that tie, if it turns out to be QPR rather than MK Dons, will no doubt be all about John Terry's possible inclusion, as no doubt Liverpool, Manchester United will be all about not Suarez, because he can't play, but Patrice Evra and all that goes with that. I just worry that that tie will get engulfed by negativity.
We hope it doesn't. We hope it's all about football, but it will get engulfed with this. And that's the way we are now. The media, that's the way we build games up. That's the incidents we talk about. It's unfortunate because I'd rather get on with it because football game is a great game. But unfortunately, when we talking about one or two incidents recently, it's not representative of the football family that is football. It's not. So the quicker we move on, it's done. Liverpool have accepted their eight weeks. Let's get on with it and let's see the football.
Well, what we should say is it's a great game to look forward to. It's a must-see, isn't it?
Listen, there's always been an edge to Man United, Liverpool, or Liverpool, Man United. There's always a topic that we can add to the game itself that makes it exciting. And you've got the two managers who, trust me, do not like getting beat with each other. They do respect each other, but they do not like getting beat with each other. So, for me, that is the big topic for that game.
Gordon, as always, a pleasure. Lots to look forward to in round 4. The, of course, third round is far from over. Highlights tomorrow night on ITV1 of Arsenal against Leeds from the Emirates, 10:35 for that one. And the Africa Cup of Nations coverage starts on Sunday, the 22nd of January on ITV4. Daily highlights programmes and then key live games from that tournament. Congratulations to all of today's third round winners, not least Manchester United, who've won at City and now go to Anfield. You could not make it up. Night from us.
Rooney! First blood to Manchester United. Manchester City down to 10 men. Welbeck's volley, 2-0. Tackle came in, penalty. Saved by Pantilimon. And Rooney heads in the rebound. Oh yeah, Manchester City have got a goal back.
The return of Paul Scholes. That's loose from Scholes. Cross from Milner. Aguero! He's going to get another chance. And Manchester City are right back in business.
It's been an amazing afternoon, but it's Manchester United who will go into the fourth round of the FA Cup.